Excellent!
I have now covered several products from Cooler Master's Master Series, and so far I've liked what I've seen. There was the Master Case and the Master Keys, for example. Beyond that, there's also a Master Watt power supply, a Master Air cooler, and there's even Master Gel thermal interface material now, which is, nice. I think that the Master branding works since it's part of Cooler Master's name, it feels vaguely associated with the PC Master race, and it implies that the product represents the upper echelon of what Cooler Master is able to produce based on their years of experience making PC hardware. So today I take a look at the MasterLiquid Pro 240, an all-in-one CPU liquid cooler that's also available in 120mm trim. Does this product deserve a place among its Master Series brethren, or is it just Master bait? So as you might expect, the MasterLiquid Pro 240 comes with a pre-filled and sealed 240mm radiator attached via FEP tubing to a unit containing a pump and water block. Accessories include a rubber gasket to put between the fans and the rad, mounting hardware and a backplate for modern AMD and Intel sockets, sets of screws for mounting, thermal paste, and the rest of the plastic tabs and standoffs for the mainstream or enthusiast sockets. You also get a little fan splitter, 4-pin, single to double, which is very convenient if you're using a motherboard that doesn't have enough fan headers. Also included are two 120mm MasterFan Pro Air balance fans, which Cooler Master says are balanced, hence the name, for a mix between performance and low noise operation, rather than going for an all-out high static pressure design. They're not slouches though, still putting out 2.34mm of H2O static pressure and 66.7 cubic feet per minute of airflow, while generating a maximum of 30 A-weighted decibels of noise at full speed. The radiator has a matte black finish and a tasteful Cooler Master logo with the product name in white on the side. It's 27mm thick, and although I was initially disappointed that it used aluminum fins rather than copper, they do have a special squared off design that allows the fins to make more contact with the channels while also providing more space for airflow. The concept of the design makes sense to me, so we'll see how it plays out in testing. The tubing is made of FEP, that's fluorinated ethylene propylene material, and I could explain why it's good material for this purpose, but let's be honest, you probably only really care about how it looks. Those ribbed ridges are there to keep the tubing from kinking, and I'll be honest that this just is not my favorite style of tubing when it comes to looks. It is thicker though, so it's not quite as bad as some of the thin FEP tubing that I've seen used in the past, and I'm sure there are some people out there who actually prefer this over the sleeved or rubberized tubing methods that I've seen. I'm just not one of them. Let's move on to the pump and block unit. Note that it's a separate pump and block connected by a couple links, rather than a pump/block that's all together as one. Take that, Ace-Tech patent lawsuits. Now, Cooler Master has some explanations for why their design is better than the competition here, and while I'm inclined to believe that it's mostly to prevent further litigation from Ace-Tech, who has been rigorously enforcing their patents over the past couple years in the USA at least, let's just see what's going on beneath the housing first. The MasterLiquid pump is further from the CPU and heat-generating components. That makes sense, I suppose, but it is hard to evaluate how much that actually helps. Next, they're using the spraying method on the CPU block itself, pushing the liquid down at the center of the microfins and allowing it to flow out on either side. This is definitely a better method than the flowing across all the fins from one side to the other method, and it is the same method employed with high-end CPU blocks from makers like EK. So apart from that, the unit is taller than others, but probably not tall enough to conflict with anything, and also there's a clear window with the Cooler Master logo on it and a blue LED. Look how nicely the blue LED matches with the motherboard LEDs. Rejoice, users who want blue to be part of their color scheme, or people with an RGB LED motherboard like this one. Despair, the rest of you who don't want blue, because as far as I can tell, there's no way to turn the damn thing off. I don't mind LEDs, I don't even mind static color LEDs, as long as I can disable them. So anyway, if you couldn't already tell, I have gone through the installation process of putting the MasterLiquid Pro 240 in the system, which wasn't too bad at all. There's no great improvements here on aftermarket CPU cooler installation, but no steps backwards either. And I ran some simple tests to gauge performance. To provide comparison, I also tested a first-gen Corsair H110, either to provide a tougher challenge to the MasterLiquid Pro 240 since the H110 has a larger 280mm radiator, or because it was already installed in this system and it was just super convenient. Take your pick. In either case, after the proper burn-in, I checked temps at idle after 15 minutes of no activity, and under load after 15 minutes of activity running IDA64's system stability test. I'm using a 5820K, and I tested it at stock speeds as well as overclocked to 4.4 GHz. I found that after adjusting for ambient temperature, these two all-in-ones were just about neck and neck, with the H110 running half a degree to a degree cooler than the MasterLiquid Pro 240. This might not seem like stellar performance for the MasterLiquid Pro 240, but keep in mind that it's significantly smaller at 240mm versus 280, so I'm actually pretty impressed that it kept up. As for noise, I will share some footage of the cooler running at idle, and now running at full load while overclocked. So please take these two recording demonstrations with a grain of salt, as I'm just using the camera's mic positioned about 10 inches from the cooler with the side panel off, so it's not the most scientific, but you also get bonus points if you can hear Hero snoring in the background. Just like there. That was actually perfect timing. So now it's conclusion time. For pros, with the MasterLiquid Pro 240 you get solid build quality, quiet if not inaudible noise generation, and equivalent performance to a last-gen 280mm cooler, which I actually think is pretty good. You also get a 5-year warranty from Cooler Master, which is quite nice. As for cons, I was mostly let down by the Master Series labeling and the expectations I had because of it. If this was my MasterLiquid cooler, it would go all out and have a copper radiator instead of aluminum, maybe some RGB lighting in the pump, or at least some means of turning it off, which, who knows, could be added in the future since I did actually spot some extra connectors on the pump connection points, and maybe some more premium feeling tubing or potential expandability with industry standard fittings like we saw with the Iceberg from Cooler Master a couple years back. Ultimately, I think this is a good cooler, and I was happy with the noise and performance, and at $120, it's competitive with a lot of the mid-range, large, all-in-one coolers on the market. I could see a better and more feature-rich version of the MasterLiquid Pro 240, though. I just don't know what they'd call it. Maybe they add an X on the end. That usually works. That is all for this review though, guys. If you enjoyed this video, I strongly encourage you to hit the like button, wherever it happens to be down there, depending on where you're watching. If you want to help me support my channel even more by helping me, you can also use my Amazon link, which is also down there in the video's description. Click it before you shop for stuff, that helps me a lot, or feel free to visit my store at store.paulshardware.net, where you can pick up shirts, mugs, or pint glasses. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already for more tech videos, and as always, thank you for watching. Nectar of the Gods. I could see a better and more feature-rich version of the MasterLiquid Pro 240. Sorry, excuse me.